Hello everyone, welcome back to Life with Becky. We are doing our final budget check-in for the month of January. I am very aware that I skipped one, and it honestly there's two basic reasons for that. Number one, I forgot, and number two, part of the reason I forgot is that because there's just not that much to track on a weekly basis. I am keeping up with transactions and keeping an eye on things, but to be honest, I wasn't sure there was going to be that much meaty content to film, so I just decided to wait until the final one for January. So that's what we're going to do here today. It is currently Saturday, January 28th. The month is not entirely over yet, but all of our bills have been paid and nothing else should be happening yet this month. So, and if they do, then I'll include that in the next video that I do, which will be the February budget setup. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Got my Clever Fox planner here. And because of my handy dandy paper clips, I can turn right to January. Now I've got my computer over here all set up, so that I can use it so I can look at our transactions while we register those. So the first thing I'm going to do is just note the things that were one-time transactions that cover items in the budget. For example, trash did actually get paid this month, so I'm going to put that down here. I know that this is double, but that's because this amount gets set aside every month to pay this every other month, so that's completely fine. Our phones did come out. They were exactly the right price. Our Capital One credit card payment came out, and so did our credit union payment. So this came out. Life insurance came out. I think that's all I can put on this page right now. Okay, so then we're gonna go over to the expense tracker. And if you remember from my last video, I decided I was gonna use this for something a little bit, not quite intended, well, not exactly what this is intended. This is where I'm tracking the items on this page that aren't one-time bills. So, for example, I have this one written down. The next one is also on the 14th. I did an Aldi pickup, and clearly, since it's pickup, I don't have the option to pay cash for that, so I paid, that was $24.96. And then on the 18th, I had forgotten some things. So I went to Kroger. Actually, I sent my husband and he did not have the gift card. So we spent a little bit on the debit card for that. On the 19th, Mary Maids came back. I'm not gonna write that here. And then today, actually, I went to Kroger and I used up the rest of my Kroger gift card and still needed some. So, and I've used up all of our cash this month. So I did spend a little bit more on the debit card. So again, I think I mentioned this in a previous video that I forgot to acknowledge the fact that this month I was gonna do 5 grocery shops. So we've gone over a little bit in food, but I'm okay with that. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. There's one more thing I need to write down. Oh my God, these things are gonna be the death of me. And then, because, oops, so so this is savings. Hang on a second. I did set aside, we did put some money in our savings account, but we only get one line per month. And I've actually already used it for January, so that's fun. That's okay, I'll have to add. Anyways, but I want to write down, because we did make payments here on the 20th. And the amount we paid on this was 200. And the amount we paid on this was 120. And I forgot to look up the balances, so bear with me while I do that. And actually, Capital One's higher because our interest is so big that, well, it's not higher, but it's also not $200 less, which is so fun. Sheesh. The interest is so high on this that it doesn't really help. I paid $200 on this, and then the next day, or a few days later, it charged our monthly interest for $150. So only 50 of it actually went to principal, which is really frustrating. And that right there, boys and girls, is why it's so hard to get out of debt if you're only paying minimum payments. So there you go. There's your little financial lesson. So then this is down to, okay, so that actually made a little bit more of a difference. Again, $120 did not come down because, again, we got charged interest. So that's a challenge, but it is what it is. All right. So that's really helpful. So I'm going to go back to our monthly budget. And wrong, there we go. I forgot to write down, this did come out, which we do need to just flip-flop these two numbers because we just got those wrong. That's perfectly fine. We did pay, I didn't even write that down, did I? Hang on. Mike's medical bills did come out, and I got that number exactly right. So yay me. We are done with takeout this month. We already know we're not going to spend anymore. And actually we have $5 left in that envelope. So yay for us. I have stuck to mine and he has stuck to his. So that's a good feeling. All right. Has anybody bought, nobody else has bought gas this month? That's interesting. Okay. So actually, as I just said that, I'm going to go ahead and wait to do the final closeout for the month because I need to total up these things. I need to verify, what we spent in some of these other categories. And we also have some automatic transfers that are going to happen still. So we're not quite done with the month, but that is a-okay. I also want to verify that our income is accurate. Mike's income, I think, changed a little bit this month. And mine actually probably went down a little bit because he no longer has a flex plan with his insurance, his medical insurance at work. So we have added his flex money to my flex because I can do flex for a dependent or for a spouse. So we've maxed out my flex plan this year because he's having foot surgery in the summer. So that is going to be a little bit lower probably. I'm just going to make notes for that for myself for the February budget. So I think that's really helpful. There's a notes page back here. I'm going to start making myself some notes. So for example, let's see, one of my notes is going to be expense tracker. Use for variable categories to total later. Okay, so that's helpful. And then for the, see, we've got the rest of the stuff happening tomorrow, or excuse me, Monday. So there are some, like the maids are coming, Mary Maids is coming back. We have 2 more transfers and then I have to move money over to savings. So we will do that. And then I'm debating whether I want to list the sinking funds in here, because it is something that comes out of our monthly budget and that we do set money aside every month, but is it really useful to see it written here? It's in our monthly budget. We have the bank accounts set up so we can easily see how much we have. So what I'm curious about is how much would this screw me up if I didn't put those in here? Because this is not an accurate number of how much we actually spent for medical costs, because we did buy some other stuff, but we've covered it all from the medical fund. So we didn't have to spend extra above and beyond what we had in the medical fund. So I don't know. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. Because yes, it came out this month, but it was all money we already had. It didn't come out of our operating expenses, as it were. So maybe that's okay. So putting it that way, maybe I just need to track, quote, operating expenses in here, which is the stuff that affects that comes out of the paychecks, really. Because the medical money, like the stuff that we spent on extra medicine or extra, like knee braces, my Curtis knee, that money does not come out of the income that we make every month. I feel like I'm making this too complicated for myself. And I know that you're listening to a lot of silence here, but I feel like this is a good thought process for people to listen to and understand that it does not come easy. This is not a super simple thing. And so I may have to chew on this for a few days. Mike and I are going to sit down tomorrow and look at our February budget with some guesstimates. Like, for example, I know that we've bought fuel twice this month, which seems not enough. So I'm wondering if he's going to need to buy it. I'm good for the next few days. So, but I don't trust that number to inform our February budget. So anyway, there's a tip for you. If you see something looks really off for a month, especially when it's really low or even when it's really high, I would not make a drastic adjustment in your budget right away the immediately following month. See what happens the next month, because sometimes weird stuff just happens, good or bad. And that could mean that and then if it happens 2 months in a row, that seems like it might be more of a pattern, but 1 month of an anomaly is not enough to make a major change in your budget. For example, I'm over on my grocery budget this month, but I kind of knew that was going to happen. So I'm not going to bump my grocery budget up next month to cover for that, because it probably won't happen in February. So anyway, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure what to do with this. Maybe part of the expense tracker should be for the variable expenses and part of it should be for my sinking fund expenses. That's not a terrible idea. Okay, so let's write that down. Separate tracker for sinking fund expenses. That would be helpful, actually. Okay. So let's check in on my goals, on our goals for the year, and see where we're at. we're on our way to saving money. Those haven't happened yet. That hasn't happened yet. I think I can successfully cross off or check off January for monthly budgets and intentional tracking. I did not specify weekly tracking, so I would just like to put that out there, but I think we've been good with that. I've already done this for January, so that's a good call. Cool. That makes me feel good. It also makes me feel good. The takeout budget was a big deal. I'm very, very, very proud of us for not giving into that temptation, even when there's nothing in the house that we particularly want, and I don't feel like cooking a full meal. We have managed. We've made sandwiches. We've, just eaten whatever we can find, and that's fine. We're being nourished. We might not be eating gourmet meals, but we're being nourished, and quite frankly, sometimes that's all you can ask for. So I am good with that and quite proud of it. So that is the end of my probably final check-in for January, and then I will film a closeout and new February budget, probably together, since they will kind of feed into each other. So I hope you enjoyed. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching, and leave an emoji. I'll put it here in the video. Leave this emoji down in the comments if you made it all the way through, and I will talk to you soon.